Good evening, boys and girls around the world. How are you doing? Welcome to another episode of The Paradigm Shift. I am your host, or a host, Brandon. Joining me tonight, Gene, Josh, the boss man, Rob Anthony, and if you will, baby, how you doing?
Don't nobody do it like me. Nobody. Just give it up, Mr. You can't do it. You can't.
Can't happen, baby. Can't happen.
It can't happen, baby. It can't happen. Everybody want to be like me, but they can't do it. No, it's impossible. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, everybody.
Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 11 o'clock. Do you know what your paradigm has shifted to? I screwed that up, but damn it, we are ready for another exciting week of wrestling talk and action here, as only we can provide it here on the Paradigm Shift podcast. Good day, everyone.
We got Jim Ross Jr. up there with Josh with the headset on. What up, bro?
Where's my 10-gallon hat?
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
What's up, boys? I am excited to be here tonight. Excited to talk wrestling with y'all once again.
Yes.
We have an amazing show here tonight. First things first, we got to talk a little bit of news. As the video package said, our time is changing. As of next week, we are moving to 9 Central, 10 Eastern. So please, if you catch us live on Facebook, YouTube, please tune in at 9 Central, 10 Eastern next week. It is going to be an awesome show. We have decided to, because there was so much to go on in the wrestling world this week, we are going to dive into all of that and move our whole.
Hey, for those Canadian fans out there, it's going to be a little bit earlier. You don't have to worry about staying up till 12 o'clock.
Which we're still really popular in Canada for some reason. I don't understand it.
We got the moose vote. That's all I can say. We got the moose vote.
The moosin'.
The moosin'.
The moosin' and the woodsin'.
So, first things first, we'll jump in to our first and one of my favorite segments on the show. Thanks to Mr. Brandon Randall, we made this official.
It needs to be longer so we can dance.
I think the song is changed on that now, but great intro. I like that.
So,
One more time.
All right.
This is officially my favorite segment.
Coming soon to the Paradigm Shift store, the 12-inch remix of that. So look for that coming soon.
You have to make a TikTok version. You really have to make a TikTok version of that.
Oh, we'll make a dance challenge out of that. So,
Yes.
Anyway,
So-
get to the question, John.
For this one, I've changed it up. I'm bringing it on the screen so everyone can see it. So, if you could change the era of one wrestler, what era would you move him to and why? As always, I already have my question ready for this one, or my answer ready for this one. This, to me, was very easy. The one guy I've always felt would thrive in another era is Dolph Ziggler. The era would be the Attitude Era. I think his character would absolutely thrive in that era. And He just has that swagger. He's a lot of HBK who also thrived in that era. If there's one wrestler I could switch, it would be him.
Wow.
For this one, let's go to Mr. Randall. I want to hear his opinion first.
You did me last week, man. This is dirty. So he put me on the spot introducing the show. Now he's putting me on the spot again.
Yep.
You have it out for me, man.
Maybe a little. I don't know.
This is called the hazing of the news guy. Of the new guy.
Yes. Yes.
It's now that I think about it, we all know that I'm a huge Dusty Rhodes fan. Could you imagine what Dusty could have done in the Attitude Era? In his prime,
Man.
he would have cut up from corner to corner. For me, Dusty Rhodes. That would have been great to see.
Wow. That's one I had never thought of, but that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Your turn, Gene.
My turn. So, putting me on the spot, who would I take from one era and put them into another? Take Chris Benoit out of the Ruthless Aggression era and bring Chris Benoit to now. Have him now at his height. At his pinnacle right now. You would not have, I will tell you, you will not have Drew McIntyre being your heavyweight champion.
No.
It would be Chris Benoit who's your champion and who's going to take the title off him right now at this particular time.
Probably the Universal Champion.
Oh, Braun Strowman. I think he could still make light work of Braun Strowman or even The Fiend. It would be very good matches.
For sure.
All right, Gene, who do you pick? There's two remaining.
I will have to say I go with Rob.
Okay. I'm gonna sort of it's sort of the same thing that I would say for the same reasons as Brandon said, putting in the Attitude Era, a guy who was way ahead of his time back in the day. I would take the former WWF champion, superstar Billy Graham, and put him in the Attitude Era. There's a reason that DVD that the WWE did of him was called 20 Years Too Soon. He would have been perfect in the Attitude Era, just the way he could talk, the big muscle man. Yeah, absolutely. I would put him in the Attitude Era.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
If you will, baby.
I don't know if you could call it an era, but I would love to see what Ember Moon could do during the time of the Divas.
Ooh.
I don't know if you could call that an era, but I would love to see what she can do. Because then you're looking at her going up against people like Jackie, Jacqueline. You're seeing those ladies, Molly Holly, Victoria. I would just love to see that. And if you get that, you might not have Naomi. So, I would really love to see that. I'd really love to see that.
Those were all great ones. Real quick, Brandon, before we move on to the subject, can you bring up Rambo's comment of who he said?
I think he said Vader.
He did. And I think this is great. This would be amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Vader now, he's one of those guys we talk about, like Keith Lee. He was just so ahead of his time as far as a big guy, the way he moved, man. I remember Vader was one of the first people I saw outside of wrestling that I recognized from Boy Meets World, man. He was just
okay. Thank you, Rambo.
So awesome.
Ember would have been in the Attitude Era. Ember would have been in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I agree. So that was the fantasy of the week.
He played it, then he stopped it, then he played it again.
Sometimes my computer is slow with the click.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Mhm.
Moving on in the show.
Okay.
I love it, yo. I love it.
Moving on to our next segment, which is going to be most of the show tonight until we get to the finale of the Aces and 8's tournament.
Ooh. Brody into the Eddie thing.
Yeah,
Huh.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Bruiser Brody and the Independents and beating up the Young Bucks. Oh,
Ooh.
that's scary.
I'm one of the few people. I hate the Young Bucks. I really do. I hate
Don't
them. I'm
agree
one of the
with
few.
you there.
I'm one of the few people that do. I can't stand them.
Maybe one time we should just play Super Kick Podcast.
Both of them would definitely get super kick.
Well, we have a lot
Gee,
going
you
on.
go this way, I'll go that way.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got him.
Wait.
We got him.
Yeah.
We got him. Heck yeah. Hell, my kids are bigger than the Young Bucks. Come on, man.
God, what I would kill for a tennis racket right about now, man. I'll tell you what. I need a tennis racket here.
This
Come
ain't
on, man.
wrestling?
But,
Get the
all right,
Young Bucks.
moving on to our next segment of the night.
You've
All
entered
right.
Josh's court.
Live in the newsroom.
Tonight on a current affair.
You're guilty. Get out.
All right. So tonight's basic news and all topic is recap of all the action that happened this weekend and going into this week, including tonight. There has been so much going on. We're going to start off with AEW Dynamite because everybody knows I'm a fanboy for Dynamite. The biggest news to me coming out of this weekend is Cody loses TNT Championship. Not only
Wow.
did he lose the TNT Championship, Cody got his ass beat for the TNT Championship
Yes.
and the whole entire Nightmare family. And Brody Lee is the new TNT champion. I have got to say, I know I love just about everything AEW does, but this was really smart by them. This was a great build. The Dark Order has been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. They really fell down through COVID, but the Brody Lee thing tied in with the
Where's my new speaker?
rise again of Uno and Stu Grayson back into the tag team division. Like, this was a great direction to go with them. I'm excited to see more of this. And yeah, anybody else's opinion on that?
Very quickly, it was smart to me as well. Just to put him over from the E. I thought it was very, very smart. Hey, look, the guy can wrestle. He's always been able to wrestle. He's never shown the ability not to do that. So now you'll be able to see him a little bit more on the mic and carry that title around. He might be more than the transitional champion. He might keep it for a minute.
If they play it correctly, he could be probably the most dominant TNT champion that they've ever had.
Yep.
Now, granted, they've only had two. He is number two, but he has potential to carry that thing for months. And with the Dark Order behind him and his talent, unstoppable.
As long as you play it correctly, you book it correctly, it could be a mainstay because you're trying to build a title. It's an inaugural title. It's the first of its kind TNT Championship. You now got your second champion. Is there going to be pressure coming from all sides? Yes. Can Brody? It's now going to find out, can Brody Lee handle the pressure that's coming up? That's the question.
Wasn't he the IC type champion at one point?
Yes. Yes, he was.
So I think he'll be okay. I really think he'll be okay. He's in a company that'll support him. I really think it'll be fine. I really think you're flourish with this.
Rob, what do you think?
And unfortunately, I like the idea of Brody Lee as champion. Unfortunately, the naysayers are going to say, here it is once again, the knock that AEW faces in that you are pushing another WWE champion with a championship. John Moxley as AEW World Champion. Brody Lee now the TNT Championship, taking it off of another ex-WWE wrestler in Cody Rhodes. And Moxley taking the AEW Championship off another ex-WWE champion, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
It's time. You have a lot of stars in AEW. It's time to push them. Yes, you got Hangman, Adam Page, and Kenny Omega as your tag team champions. Yes, you have Hikaru Shida as your AEW Women's Champion. It's time for many other non-WWE stars to get the rub on this. And I think we're going to see that come all out. I'm going to make the bold prediction here. MJF is going to be your next AEW champion at
And
all
Rob,
out.
right there is why I like having you last, because you're a great segue into the next one, which is Paradigm Shift Band. No,
Not us.
this show. Not us.
Not us.
This show is good. We're good. But in AEW, there was a 5,000 signed petition. MJF got the I can't talk tonight. Paradigm Shift move banned in the match for the AEW Championship at All Out. I'm excited for this match, and I wanted to say this, Rob, when you were talking. I think you are going to see he's not necessarily fully AEW homegrown. He grew in MLW, like that's really what built him. But
Right.
as far as being a face for a company, it is the first time he's done it. I do see MJF probably winning against Moxley. There's some things that play in my head. There's some different ways this could maybe go. They might push it to the next pay-per-view of him winning, because a 3-month feud between the two would be really, really, really good. Like you push it to their next pay-per-view at New Year's, that would be awesome.
That build would be amazing, and that's something that WWE has gotten away from. Is build.
Oh yeah, they don't do the long builds, the slow builds anymore.
Look at what we got. We got another for WWE. We got another pay-per-view this Sunday.
Well, we're gonna talk about that pay-per-view here in a second, because they are throwing that thing so fastly together. There's no story behind it. Topic. But on AEW, if the paradigm shift is truly banned in that match, it really does put Moxley at a disadvantage. Paradigm shift is one of those great things that it's kind of like the RKO. This is the only reason I say so. It's kind of like the RKO. He can pull it anywhere. He loses that sneak attack because of losing that move, which is, I agree, he can still win the match. He can still win this match, because Moxley, we all know he can go to the next level with it. But it does put a little bit of a handicap behind him, because he loses the surprise attack of that.
That is true. That is true.
I'm going to say this. If you're smart enough and you want to make a smart build, and if you're good enough as a wrestler or as a heel, where John Moxley plays on that borderline of, am I a heel, am I not a heel, I would have to say he can always rename the move and just call it Dirty Deeds. And all of a sudden, you still use the move, and it beats the band.
Or he could call it like he calls it in NJPW in New Japan. They call it the Death Rider.
Yeah,
I'm so going to go ahead and call it right now. Moxley's going to win the first round. And Darby Allin's going to come out and give him the paradigm shift.
Yep. Well, I see long build. If you're going to do this correctly, you have MJF as your main center focused heel. You want that long build to describe. Yeah. So the first battle is going to happen that MJF in like perfect heel fashion, he's going to lose, and then he's going to complain like, the sun got out of his eyes or something, like a heel would, and then you build it for 3 months. Next pay-per-view, he wins it, and now at that point, it's more eyes, more focus, and now you want this guy to lose so bad because you're going to put, proverbial fantasy butts in the seats.
Let me debate that point for 1 second. Sorry, Will. Let me debate that one first. The build for a lot of the matches that Moxley has had as AEW champion is okay, but let's go back to Revolution for AEW. The build for Moxley chasing the championship was a lot better than a lot of the builds they've done as Moxley as champion.
Agreed.
So
most of his feuds as champion have been very quick. Not to jump in, Rob, but I just
Brian Cage was one. Brody Lee was another one. Yes, but the feud, the old eye for an eye build with Jericho and all that stuff. I think MJF wins the championship, and the build for Moxley chasing him to get the title back is going to be phenomenal. And MJF's going to go and duck him every which way but loose until it happens again at the next pay-per-view. That's where the money is. And that's what AEW needs. They need a feud like this.
Absolutely. And you're talking about feuds. That brings us that actually brings us to our next topic. It's turning out to be a phenomenal feud between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. Guys, what are we thinking about this?
I gotta say this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Will. I'll go next.
This just shows you that Jericho is worthy of Hall of Fame status. He can work with anybody, any match, doesn't matter what. This shows you what Chris Jericho can really, really do. The man's amazing to me. Yeah, he's a little bit older, somewhat out of shape, but when the time comes, he can get it done.
So on this, if you'd have told me probably a year and a half, well, maybe even a year ago, if you'd have told me that when Orange Cassidy debuted at All Out last year, that this year he was going to be one of the top guys in wrestling, having one of the best of the year with Y2J, who we would all agree is one of the GOATs in this.
Hands down.
Yep, hands down.
There is no discussion we could do, and we probably will one day do a whole show on Chris Jericho and why he is the greatest of all time. But Orange Cassidy is shining for someone whose whole gimmick is, I don't really care. I'm just here. He is a great worker. You don't, and the greatest thing is he's over with almost no mic work, none whatsoever.
Yep,
none.
Absolutely.
Who's the only guy to proverbially put this down? Who is the only guy to ever get over with the fans and never once talk on the mic? The only person we've ever seen in professional wrestling history, Abdullah the Butcher, and he had extreme rules to go with Abdullah. Here's Orange Cassidy coming out, hands in pockets, with the shrug, and he's getting over. He don't need mic work. The guy's doing phenomenal with very little, and he's getting over because he's worked with the right people. He's been able to shine at the right times, and it's working for him. And he's in the right place to do that. If you took Orange Cassidy, repackaged him, and put him into the WWE, I don't think he would have been as big as we're seeing him right now.
I just no. Go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
Abdullah did speak though. Now he wasn't understood. But he did speak.
There's a difference between speaking and there's a big difference, Will.
Yeah.
But it also shows something too, guys. We can't forget, like Rob said earlier, it's time for AEW to start pushing those new guys.
Yep.
I could see something along the lines. Say MJF wins the AEW title. I could see someone like Orange Cassidy
When?
Well, yeah, right. But I could see somebody like Orange Cassidy coming up and challenging him for it and winning. That leads for a whole wall of opportunity for the new guys to start coming in. See, all these ex quote unquote WWE guys, they had to come in and show these guys how to lay down a foundation. They've done that. It's been what, almost a year, 2 years?
Year next month. It'll be
Okay.
a year that AEW Dynamite debut next month.
And look at what a year's time has done for AEW.
Wow.
Yeah.
They've had some big names come through. The foundation is set. I'm
It's
telling
time
you,
to start pushing
they're
homegrown talent.
exactly. They're getting ready to start pushing these new guys, and we're going to start seeing something remarkable happen.
And you're still going to see the guys with the foundation already built, but it's going to be less the WWE. You're like Omega. We all know Omega's about to get his big cleaner push. Like I'm not going to get off topic, but I'm so excited for people to see the Omega from New Japan that we all know, because people are talking on this like, oh, this Omega's nothing. Like he's been doing what he needed to do and put over talent and build the foundation. And now you're right, the foundation's built. I see like if MJF wins the title, oh man, Omega MJF feud would be amazing. But real quick, I want to say one thing on this Mimosa Mania and that whole thing. The greatest thing I think about this whole feud is they have not taken it like super seriously. The whole thing's been an awesome joke. It's been hilarious to watch. Chris Jericho getting soaked in orange juice, all of it. It's been a great, great feud. I'm so excited to see more of this and to see Orange Cassidy, because, man, I'm excited for PW Insider rankings this year, because they're going to be crazy. You're going to see guys at the top of the list that you never thought would be at the top of that list. All right, moving on. So moving to our next thing of the weekend, and that was NXT TakeOver. So the first bit of news going on there is Adam Cole defeats Pat McAfee.
Shocker.
All I got to say is Adam Cole, baby, and he did what he said he was going to do.
Guys, I can't tell you how ridiculous this whole thing was.
It was, but I got to give McAfee his credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
For only having 2 weeks of prep time, supposedly, that was a really good match. He even did a high spot. Like, I was impressed.
I disagree with that 2 weeks of prep time. I disagree with that. He's had a contract for months.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me with that contract he hasn't been in the Performance Center?
He was on WrestleMania 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was commentating WrestleMania. So he's been in there. He was
commentating, but you don't think that during that contract he hasn't been in the Performance Center working with him? Of course he has. Don't give me this 2 weeks.
What was also shown in that match. What was also shown in that match was.
Yeah, don't give me that.
Man's
I couldn't say what I wanted to say, so.
Oh, he toned it down.
He needs some milk.
Man, I lost what I was going to say. What you could see in this match was that these were two guys that, yes, they were playing a feud, but they were actually really good friends, and they choreographed the heck out of that match. It was a good match. I will give credit where credit was due, and we're going to come back to McAfee in a little bit because I have a question.
I'll give credit for Adam Cole can have a match with a broom and it would be good, like Flair and Omega. They could have a match with a broom and it would work. Well, Omega had a match with a blow up doll, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So.
And it's on the internet if you want to go find it.
It is
Absolutely, and a 9-year-old girl, and it was still good. Despite what Cornette says.
So, moving on.
Our next thing from TakeOver this weekend was Something I was pretty excited about. It kind of took a dark turn tonight. Killer Cross new XT champion. And,
Spoiler alert.
Real quick, yeah. Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched NXT tonight, you may want to mute us for a second. He ended up relinquishing the title tonight because he did separate his shoulder in the match. That is going to actually lead us into another topic here, which is the Fatal 4-Way, which was announced tonight. It's going to be.
Oh man, that's
Finn Balor.
That's going to be off. That's going to be off. That's going to be
Balor, Gargano, Ciampa, and Adam Cole, Bay.
If you don't stop, I swear. I swear if you don't stop. Oh my
well.
God.
Let's just and ladies and gentlemen, not only those 4 men in a 4-way match, those men, I think, for the first time ever that I can think of, and I know a lot about wrestling, the first time ever a fatal 4-way Iron Man match. Those 4 men are going to go at it for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. But let's dial it back just 1 second. Killer Cross.
Carrying Cross.
Carrying.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Tomato.
Mm-hmm.
Tomato.
In the next
Tommaso.
But what a great match against Keith Lee. What a great match. I was impressed. You guys shake your head.
No,
I don't.
I'm
I don't
not-
shake my, no, it was a great match with Keith Lee. I shake my head as to Keith Lee's the start of Keith Lee's future.
Yes.
I agree.
That's why
I
shake my
agree.
head too.
I agree. I'm right there with you guys.
Yeah.
But I think if they was going to have him lose, it was a great idea to pick Karrion Kross.
You made the man a transitional champion. Is what you
They
did.
booked themselves into a corner with this match. But
They did.
And then you
They
took
did.
you then you debut him 2 nights later on Raw. You take away his we can't bask in his glory with his music. You give him an entirely different outfit,
Different music, outfit. It's like
put the kids to bed for 5 seconds.
It's like he's
put the kids
put on some clothes.
Yeah,
Bro.
put the kids to bed for 5 seconds.
Bro.
You basically cut Keith Lee's balls off.
Mm-hmm. Basically, he should still be.
Yeah.
He should still be the NXT champion to me, because you build him up at NXT, and then after a nice long healthy run as champion, then you move him over and you keep his stuff. You keep his theme music, you keep his ring attire, and you move him from there. The fact that you may or may not have him against Randy Orton is really irrelevant right now, because he's not Keith Lee that we know. He's not that guy.
But do you think maybe they wanted him over there to give Big E some competition?
That's kind of unfair, though. That's unfair because Big E has been there. Big E has been there for years. He's a multiple time tag team champion. That's kind of unfair.
It is.
You know.
But look at who runs the brand, though, man.
I know. And that's the thing that pisses me off about it. The minute he got there, I was done. Go ahead. Sorry, Gene. Go ahead.
No. Look at it from 2 ways. You have Adam Cole, who by now you'd think by now the UE should be on the main product, but they're not. They're staying over on NXT. You can put a championship on Adam Cole at any point, at any given time. He's going to carry the brand. He's going to be the man.
Yes.
Okay? So you've already got your workhorse guy when you need him. You take a guy that you could develop into being another workhorse for your brand in Keith Lee, and you ship him over to Raw and completely take everything away from him that makes him Keith Lee. You repackage him as somebody, pretty much somebody new. Just let's not even call him Keith Lee. Let's just call him, generic Create a Wrestler 2, and plopped him in. And now you're putting your generic Creative Wrestler 2 up against Randy Orton, just so that you can show Randy Orton a competition, a little bit of dominance, but you know Randy Orton's going to get over.
Right.
Absolutely. And it's
why
there's no sense in it. And you guys, we can sit here all night and try to find an excuse, but at the end of the day, it's Vince McMahon. I mean, there's just cut
King Petty. That's his new name, King Petty.
King Petty.
That's his new name, King Petty.
There's a meme out there. There was a meme out there where you see Keith Lee, and then you see Vince, and he goes, "He's too fat. Put a shirt on him," and then boom, that's what we got. And it's like, dude, we're 2020 now. This is not the 80s.
Exactly.
Josh, did you have any final comments on this?
I agree with everything that's been said. I like Keith Lee. Like this has been discussed on this show many times. I like the athletic big guy. Brandon, big guys unite. Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm busy. I'm busy writing. I'm busy writing the book for Undisputed Era as I'm booking them as the guys behind Retribution. But okay.
So this will move us into our next little thing, which I wanted to talk about as far as TakeOver and NXT, the Fatal 4-Way predictions. So we got into this a little bit, but who are you taking in this match? Who's going to be the next NXT champion? Personally, I think it's time for Gargano to raise that belt up.
Ooh.
No.
Ooh.
No. Nope.
Ciampa.
Ooh.
Yes.
Tommaso
never lost that belt. Goldie needs to come home.
I agree.
Gene?
I'm going to be the outed guy in the group, aren't I? Because I'm going with the longest reigning.
Okay.
Don't do it.
I couldn't do it, guys. I couldn't do it. He's back. But you know what?
You know what? One time for the viewers in Canada, Adam Cole, baby. So
yes, there's also a TikTok that goes behind that. But anyways,
okay.
Sadly, you're probably right, though, Gene. As much as I hate it and it pains me to say it, you're probably right.
Brandon, let's hold hope. Let's hold out hope here.
I will hold hope, but
hey.
Based on the vicious streak that we saw tonight, it should be Ciampa.
For sure.
I think old Ciampa, when he had Goldie, is coming back. So I could see him winning that.
It's time to give it back to him. It's time to give it back to him because he never lost it.
That's what, because he lost that belt. He lost it to injury.
Yeah,
that's why I picked.
Yeah.
So real quick, this is my last thing as far as NXT, but I'm excited for this. And new NXT Tag Team Champions, Breezango.
Hey, they did a Mountie and entrance once, so I got to give it to them.
Slow clap.
I gotta give it to them because these are guys who have been very long tenured in WWE. Took the cut down to NXT to become relevant, and Fandango. Let's talk about it. This is the guy who beat Chris Jericho in his debut match.
He did
at WrestleMania.
He did
at WrestleMania. Tyler Breeze is a phenomenal wrestler who has wrestled all of the big names. Remember, the one match Jushin Thunder Liger had in WWE, it was against Tyler Breeze. They think of him that much. And hey, you got to give it up for technically Tyler Breeze's second championship in WWE since on YouTube he became the up up down down champion and is now renamed it the left right championship.
All right, so that covers all of NXT. Moving on to the other event of this weekend, and that was SummerSlam. So after this, we're going to have a little discussion comparing the two. But first things first, coming out of Summer, there wasn't really a whole lot I wanted to talk about in SummerSlam, except this was one of the main things.
Well, there wasn't very much to talk about. Let's talk about the Mandy Rose botch trying to grab the table and had her try to how many different times.
Let's talk about the Mandy Rose botch of the caterpillar. Trying to do the worm and she couldn't do it.
Wait. Let's just talk about Mandy Rose.
Dumb blonde, man. Dumb blonde.
I absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Dumb blonde, man.
She could have devastated Sonya. She really could.
Anything connected with Otis, I refuse to talk about.
Dumb blonde, man.
Otis is my guy.
Oh no.
Look,
no.
He said he liked me, so I said that.
They did Sonya a disservice in this. I know that she wanted time off, and I understand that. I get that. But come on, man.
But
Roman Reigns. Did anybody see that happening? Did anybody see Roman
about that? I heard a rumor, but I didn't want to say anything because I couldn't confirm.
See, I didn't see anything. They kept that very quiet, and I'm glad they did because it was the first time in a long time WWE actually got one over on me. I didn't see Roman coming back.
I was like, well, I had heard some rumors here and there because they're now in the Amway. It's not as close. It's not as close quarters. He can kind of be separated. So I had heard that he could possibly be coming back for this event.
Oh yeah, earlier. He's got a lot of. He still has a lot of rumors going around. He was one of the dudes that were rumored to go to AEW for a minute.
That was never going to happen. He is.
I don't think so either. But because they put him and Bliss in the same rumor. Say, come on, man, it ain't gonna happen.
No,
he is so WWE in his blood, like that'll never happen. But here's the other thing of that. I've heard a lot of rumors, a lot of opinions on the internet and stuff. Do y'all think he turned heel in that? And it would be kind of confirmed tomorrow night. I'm not so sure. I would love to see it. Like I wanted him to heel. It's one thing that I was always sad that we never got with Cena was a good heel run. So I hope they pulled the trigger on that. But I would still doubt it. They need a face on SmackDown.
Let me say this. One, I hope he's paying Stone Cold Steve Austin in his royalties with the T-shirt he ripped off. Two, he needs to go talk to the dentist, whoever did his teeth work, that $5 overbite he paid a little bit too much for. And like, okay, it's great. It's Roman Reigns. He's back. Great. He inserted some dominance. But did you really need to do it after the Fiend had won? You could have easily pulled that off, saved that for tonight or Friday Night SmackDown, and made it a little bit more impactful. Made it mean something.
That's true.
Instead of him just showing up, wrecking house after what was already, one heck of a match for these two guys. You could, let Bray Wyatt, let the Fiend have a little bit of his moment, and then do that on SmackDown, because then that would have been more impactful. And then you would put eyes into your Thunderdome for Friday Night SmackDown.
Let's just call that what it was. It was Vince McMahon's taking another stab at the Fiend to knock him off the pedestal because he does not like the character. This was Vince's way of showing that his guy is better.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
So, moving to the next topic in SummerSlam, Dominic Mysterio debuts against Seth Rollins. This was a match.
Horrible idea.
Dumb idea.
It was a
Like-
horrible idea.
And
Dumb
I'm
idea.
actually, because this was so dumb, we're gonna piggyback and make this a 2-part topic here. Better debut, Pat McAfee or Dominic Mysterio?
McAfee.
all day.
McAfee.
All day long. All day long.
Well, don't get me wrong.
Are
Dominic coming to SummerSlam, 20 years later, and finally having his match. But
No.
McAfee was better than
McAfee didn't have to be carried.
Nope.
Rollins carried Dominic. Not to mention, how
Ooh.
watered down and PG do we have to bring your mom to ringside, holding your hand? I love you, son. Good luck. Are you serious?
You can't
You
wrestle
just-
like your mama. You can't wrestle
just-
like your mama watching.
You just threw every bit of kayfabe you had out the window. Wrestling's done. We're taking mom to the park, guys. I'm out of here.
If it wasn't, and if it wasn't a blatant sale for Louis Vuitton, I don't know what it was.
I think if we don't let Rob speak, he might pop.
Rob's
Okay.
about to explode.
What planet are you guys on? Honestly, with the exception of Rey Mysterio's wife, Dominic's mother, on screen, the Mysterio Rollins match had much more drama and was much better than Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. Yeah, don't shake your head at me.
I 100% disagree on that one.
There was a lot. I'm a story guy.
It used
I
to. Rambo.
like
It used to.
I like the story. The Dominic, the whole drama of the Dominic Mysterio Seth Rollins match was a lot better than an ex-football player taking on a wrestler. We saw that at WrestleMania 11 with Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow. We didn't need to see it 25 years later with Pat McAfee and Adam Cole.
But to be fair, Rod, there was no performance center when Lawrence Taylor was doing his thing.
No, there wasn't.
There's no performance.
No, there
center.
wasn't.
All you guys, every time Lawrence Taylor took a hit, oh god,
Well,
yeah.
As far as
Bruh.
entertainment wise, and I know I'm fixing to piss you off, I compare this just as bad as Lana and Bobby Lashley's wedding
I
story.
agree.
It was that bad for me.
It's another one of the
For me.
WWE PG area storylines that don't work in this era. It doesn't work in this era, in the
Oh my
PG
God.
era. We can't take it far enough.
I'm sorry, Rob. That's just my view on it.
Hell,
Then this is one of those things that we are going to agree to disagree on this. I say that it was drama to see Mr. Yes, the mom issue. Yeah, I could do without that. I could certainly do it. But Rey Mysterio handcuffed, the whole thing, reaching for dad and all that stuff and everything like that. That was a lot better than sorry to say, with McAfee and all that stuff. But we're going to agree to disagree on this and move on.
We're just gonna have to.
Moving to
Yeah.
the last topic as far as news and everything from this weekend in our weekend recap.
Takeover.
I disagree. I think Dynamite beat out
Dynamite.
I wasn't thinking. You said event. I wasn't thinking.
I was talking
I was
everything
thinking-
that happened this weekend. I'm sorry.
I was
should have
comparing Takeover to SummerSlam.
I mean, we all know Takeover always beats the whatever it's against as far as WWE product. I will say, as far as takeovers, and this being Takeover 30, I didn't think it was one of the best takeovers I've ever seen. It was probably in the top 10, but probably closer to the 10 number than the 1 number. It wasn't the greatest takeover. Dynamite went against Takeover half of its show and still ended up doing great in the ratings again this week. And the only thing that beat them was UFC and NBA. So, I mean, I think Dynamite
I'm gonna say the reason that the Takeover wasn't as good as, and it's all about perception. The reason that Takeover wasn't as good this time as it has been against the WWE product in all time? Fans.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The NXT takeover wasn't in the Thunderdome. So
No. I will say this: NXT Takeover for me, I enjoyed it just a tad bit more than SummerSlam. Don't get me wrong, SummerSlam did have its moments where it was great, but in all, what was going on? Again, AEW proved to show that it can still compete even with being pushed to Saturday, and still can come out and showcase what it can do. So at this point, like if you were looking at it from the WWE side, yes, Takeover had it over just by a smidgen over SummerSlam this weekend. And if you're looking at it in a compass of a whole, AEW still had a better product.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
All right, we're moving on. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are now about to start the final round of the Aces and 8's tournament. But before, a word from our newest man in the Paradigm crew, Mr. Brandon Rand.
Oh, hey there, guys. My name's Brandon. I'm new here to the Paradigm Shift. You actually caught me setting up my mic and everything. I'm actually watching a little bit of NXT too. Now, tonight we wrap up our Aces and 8's tournament. It's come down to two men. Ron Simmons and Triple H. Now, I know I play a big part in this because I'm a judge. But when you break it down, you're talking about two individuals who has made an impact on this business one way or another. You're talking about two men who has fought and clawed their ways to the top and done whatever it took. Two men that deserves to win this tournament. Who will it be? I guess we're just going to find out. I know that guy.
All right. So,
he's much handsomer on videotape than he is live. So
I agree. All that fancy editing makes him look very
yeah,
nice.
I'll tell you what. Camera adds 15 pounds. So.
so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a long month.
Oh my God. He's got shades on. Really?
Oh, you're getting. Here it comes. Get ready. Will. It's not just you're not just going Triple H versus Ron Simmons. It's going to be Will, the Doctor of Style, Will Morgan versus the Canadian Crippler.
You know what, Rob? You actually just led into it perfectly, so I don't even have to segue. The Crippler sent in a message proxying for Gene tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Paradigm Shift, Triple H versus Ron Simmons. Let's talk about this, shall we? Ron Simmons' one greatest accolade will always be remembered as being the first African-American heavyweight champion for WCW, a company that no longer exists. Don't get me wrong, Ron Simmons would later become a member of the infamous and leader of the Nation of Domination and be a tag team with John Bradshaw Layfield. But again, he was always in somebody's shadow or always in the back, Ron Simmons. Now we could say the same for Triple H riding Shawn Michaels' coattails, but I would have to go to a man who's a 14-time heavyweight champion, a man who calls himself the King of Kings, a man who calls himself the Game, a man who calls himself the Cerebral Assassin, a man who is the measuring stick of professional wrestling. Ron Simmons, I'm sorry to say, but we have seen this in the past. We've seen matches between Ron Simmons and Triple H, and it ends with a pedigree and a 1, 2, 3. Nothing will change from tonight, tomorrow, and into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, it was great that Ron Simmons made it this far, but we have to talk about the career. And when we look at the career, Triple H has it all day. Now, like he says, it's time for you to bow down to the King of Kings.
So when you said all day, I swear I felt like you were about to say baby at the end of it. Oh my gosh.
All right. So
I hate the cripple.
You got
2
your
minutes.
You got your
Will.
2 minutes. So now, Will, you have 2 minutes to fight for your man. Here we are in the last matches of the 8's tournament. Will, Rob, you got the watch?
I got the watch. All right, hold on. Will, your time starts now.
All right, everybody. You saw the promo. You saw what the crippler said. And that's fine, well and good. 14-time world champion. It's great and fantastic. But then we have to remember, he rode Shawn Michaels' coattails. That's number one. Number two, none of the stuff that Triple H has done has been generic and on his own. We all know why he buddied up to Stephanie McMahon. We all know why he did that. Was to get his career to where he wanted to be. The curtain call should have been the end of Triple H. And he suffered. But only when he got with Stephanie McMahon was he able to right the ship. Okay, let's bring my man Ron Simmons into play. All right, Ron Simmons. Now, he doesn't have the accolades of Triple H. But again, those were not generic. But everything Ron Simmons has done has been generic. 1992, Inspirational Wrestler of the Year. Go to WCW. Heavyweight Champion. World Tag Team Champion. United States Champion. Go over to WWE. 3-time Tag Team Champion with Bradshaw in the class of 2012 WWE Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, this man has done it generically. He has done it honestly. If you go back, even in the Bush Leagues, he was a heavyweight champion down in Florida, Memphis champion, Ohio Valley Wrestling champion. This man has done it on it. Honestly, he's done it the way you should do it. His competition is better than what Triple H has ever faced. Ron Simmons deserves to be the winner of the 8's champion. And that's all I got to say.
You got 15 seconds.
I'm good.
Dang.
All right.
That was really, really good. Both of you gentlemen. That was a good championship match, I have to say. I'm gonna go ahead and vote first on this one though. This one is a tough one because you do have to look at both careers, both legacies. But truly to me, the whole McMahon era and McMahon thing really weighs on me with Triple H's career. And I do feel like he read Shawn Michaels' coattails. And I'm sorry, but there's one accolade that you will never, ever, ever, ever be able to take away from Ron Simmons. That is the fact that he was one of the first African-American males to hold a national wrestling championship. So to me, it's got to be Ron Simmons.
Rob Weary, we await your answer.
I was hoping you would have went first, Brandon. Oh, both men, no doubt. For just their singles careers, it hasn't happened for Triple H yet, but both men definitely for their singles careers will be in the Hall of Fame. That's a given. The question is what they did with their time as champion. Triple H is a 14-time world heavyweight champion. Ron Simmons is a one-time world heavyweight champion. And as good as it was for Ron Simmons' reign as champion and groundbreaking that it was kind of uneventful. And it was almost like it seemed like he was made champion to pop the crowd in an era where the guy who held the book was in WCW was Bill Watts, who had done the same thing with Junkyard Dog back in the day when he ran Mid-South Wrestling. It was a chance to bring new fans and give a certain fans that they didn't have before. So Triple H, 14-time champion, some reigns good, some reigns bad. Questionable about how he got there. I don't know what the name of it is, but there's a great movie produced by Max Landis on YouTube that goes over the career of Triple H in a sort of a sarcastic way. It's really tough to make a decision here, but based on everything, I'm going to say the better man is Triple H.
All right. Mr. Brandon Randall, Mr. Judge, your last vote to decide the champion of the Aces and Eights tournament.
I just want to say I admire how Rob's answer was so safeguarded. He was making sure he didn't step on nobody's toes.
Absolutely.
That was
I
the
am
best
anything
ballet
if I'm
performance.
PC.
That was the best ballet performance I've ever seen on live.
Hey, I stayed in bounds and I caught the ball, so there you go.
Okay. So it's me. This is I can't believe we're already to the final end of this. And Ron Simmons, wow. Triple H. I mean, you can't say enough about both of them. Yes, Triple H has, as far as accolades, Triple H has more. Absolutely. But there was something always special about Ron. And I felt like in a perfect world, Ron Simmons would mop the floor with Triple H and anyone else that crossed in his path. And he would have been, and there's no telling how many times he'd have been world champion. I get for storylines they'd have to take the belt off of him time to time. But that's a champion. That man, he worked for everything that he got. I'm not going to say Triple H didn't. We all know there's another aspect to that. But if I had to pick today, right now, ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Ron Simmons.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Morgan, you now have the floor to say whatever you would like.
Real quick, I just want to say thank you for including me in this tournament. I just picked guys I liked, guys who I looked up to, guys who, to me, are role models. And Ron pulled it out for me. I want to thank Gene for being a hell of an opponent with Triple H. And again, man, it's just been an honor to be here, to be a part of this show. I want to thank you guys for that. It's been a hell of a tournament. And like I say, I just picked guys I liked, and they came through. So again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Once again,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, your
All right,
champion.
wait. Give him 30 more seconds, because that's the Will Morgan answer. I want to hear the Doctor of Style accept the win in this one.
Shoot. Here we go. Give us the play.
Well, since I got an extra 30 seconds, baby, let me tell y'all right now. I told y'all the first time when this whole thing started, baby. I told y'all that the Ebony experience for a win.
Testify, dear brother.
And see, y'all didn't understand. Y'all didn't respect the fact that we got the power. We got the power, baby. And we got it through. We got it done. So it's great. As Triple H is, he had no chance against the power of the Ebony experience.
Say it again for the ones in the back. Say it again for the ones in the back.
If you will.
If you will.
Your champion of the first Aces of Eights, my guy, Ron Simmons. Give it up for him, everybody.
Give it up. Give it up for the man.
Congratulations, Bill, to being the first champion on the Paradigm Shift of one of our first tournaments. Dude, congratulations, really. We did have one order of business that we didn't address. Brandon, I believe you had a gift card that you were supposed to be giving away tonight.
Oh, you're absolutely right. We're gonna have to go live tomorrow and do that. I actually totally slipped my mind. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
So we will go live tomorrow.
And why are we giving away a gift card?
Well,
Why?
that
What
was
is that beautiful bean footage?
we are, because of the 250 likes, we are officially announcing our very first Paradigm Shift sponsored giveaway. This is not something that Brandon decided to do just to be awesome. This is us doing it. So we will be putting all of our 250 followers, actually it's more like 300 now, into a raffle and drawing one name for a one-of-a-kind Paradigm Shift t-shirt.
That we don't even have.
Will be
None of us have this shirt.
Next Wednesday. The winner of that raffle will be announced next Wednesday. There will only be 2 of these shirts. There will be one for Facebook and one for when the YouTube hits 100. This shirt will be reseen again.
Guys, make sure to go like our YouTube page as well. Just like he said, we will be doing more drawings, more raffles. Guys, you guys help us grow. We promise we're going to give back to you guys 100%. Because if it weren't for you, we wouldn't have a show.
Yes.
Amen.
As we said, there are big things coming for the Paradigm Shift. Big things coming from all of these guys that you see on screen. Keep posted, keep liking, keep subscribing. Check us out. If you're not watching live, check us out on any podcast platform. We're now on Apple, by the way.
Yeah!
So, one more, guys, one more. We are on iHeart, Spotify, Apple, Breaker, Outcast. There's more out there. Go check us out. Find us on all your podcast platforms. Go like, subscribe, support us on Anchor. I think that's it, guys.
Let me just say this. Didn't we start this around the time of WrestleMania?
Yeah, March.
Around the time. March. So March, April, May, June, July. In 5 months, we are all together and we are doing this. And we could not have done this without the support of every person listening, every person watching. We thank you so much. We are going to repay your trust in the Paradigm Shift by giving you the best possible wrestling podcast show and a lot of other great stuff coming up in the weeks and months to come, as me and Gene Okerlund used to say.
Yes, sir.
I want to challenge all of our fans out there that have got us this 250, 300 followers. to share us with your friends. We made $250 in 5 months. I want to double that in 3 months.
Ooh, nice.
And the Dr. Style ain't going nowhere. The Dr. Style gonna be right here. He gonna be right here. He ain't going nowhere.
Right now, when we double that and we hit 500, the giveaway that we're gonna have, wrestling fans are gonna crap their pants.
Ooh.
I missed that discussion in the staff meeting. Oh,
It's gonna be.
I was on Wrestling 2020, and even Angel put out a poop question. And if he's saying that he's going to get people to crap his pants, that's pretty big. There's not very many people did. There's only 10. There's only 10 people that ever did.
So I'm just going to give a little down to this section, but and also we meant to mention this in the beginning, but we do send our prayers and wishes out to everybody who's being hit by the hurricane. Our own Mr. Randall is going through right now. We send you our prayers, buddy. We send our prayers to everyone out there. I have a lot of family and friends in Houston. Please, guys, be safe. And guys, thank y'all again for another awesome show. The end of this tournament. Don't forget, next week we have a new time. We will be on at 9 Central, 10 Eastern next week. 9 Central, 10 Eastern. If you catch us live on YouTube or Facebook, watch us there. Again, please go like, subscribe, follow. Send us
Share, comment.
Review us on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts on Google. Go support. If you love this show and you want to support us, you can support us on Anchor. It is an easy way to help us out. The more support we have, the better this show gets, the better everything is for you. We thank you guys. We love you. We love all our fans. And good night.